Welcome kindreds, it's Jessica, and I'm conscious that I haven't shared my journal with you for a while. Things have changed quite a lot with my journaling process. I've been starting to use some aspects digitally instead, like I'm using a digital calendar now because my daughter is old enough now to be able to use a calendar as well, and it's just working better for her, me and my husband to all kind of sync our appointments digitally instead of using doing it all in my journal and having to also do it digitally. I didn't want to be like duplicating parts of my process. My planner is very much a tool of like spiritual growth, personal growth for me, and so even though I do include mundane things in there, I don't just do it for the sake of it, you know. Those mundane things are in there as well, usually because I need to have them somewhere and I like to have them woven into my life. But yeah, so basically that's a very long way of saying that some of my stuff is now digital, and I'm going to try and find a way of sharing some of that with you. I'm using like a calendar, like I said. I'm also using an app called Notion as well for some of my things, like my collections and stuff like that are kind of in Notion now. So I'm finding a whole new way with my journal, but I wanted to share with you my Aries full moon spread that I've made. I am still journaling. It's just that it's kind of more sporadic now and I don't have a full structure of how things are working, but I wanted to share this because I thought it might be helpful, because I'm going to take you along my process. I started to do it and then I was like, oh, I should share this because I think this might be something that is helpful. So I've already done, I kind of made the page. I used some different washes and stuff that I had that kind of tied in for me with the kind of theme of the Aries full moon. I made some of these little like spirograph, although these were kind of like a knockoff spirograph little one, just because it was easier to use on the page here rather than making little holes with the pegs in my page. Because I wanted to do that, because let me read you what I've got so you can see. Basically, the Aries full moon is very much about self and other, because Aries is about self-actualizing, and the opposite sign is Libra, and that is the sign of like relationships, of connections with others. I've got my honeycomb planner here, and this is another reason why I wanted to make this video. So I wanted to show how I use these lunation charts in my honeycomb planner and how I use them to kind of like inform what I'm working on in my life, what I'm trying to kind of like level up. It's not even as like cheesy as that. It's more like it's where I'm growing, what I'm battling with, what I'm growing, what I'm trying to release, that kind of thing. So that Aries moon is pulling, you know, the moon is in Aries, the sun is in Libra, and is pulling along that axis. And I'll show you on here. We've got the moon, we got the sun here, we got the moon here, and you can probably see this red line going through. That is the opposition, because the moon and the sun are exactly opposite each other. This is actually a little bit before the full moon as I'm recording this. So the moon has moved into Aries now, but it's not quite, I'm doing this on the Saturday, not on the Sunday, so we haven't got the full opposition yet, but I'm already feeling that energy of that. And you probably also noticed that Venus is down here with the sun as well, and I think that's really interesting. Venus rules Libra. She's strong there in Libra as her home sign. And who rules Aries? Mars. So again, another like push pull, that kind of like, I hate those terms because they've become so kind of like perverted, really, that masculine and feminine, but it's the self and other. That is what this axis is, and that is something that I'm always working with. My ascendant is in Libra as well, and so I'm always working with that self other axis and trying to kind of figure that all out. So this is coming to a head for me right now, and I thought I would share my journal and how I'm like digging into that energy and how I'm working with the energy that is here to try and find some sort of resolution and realizations that I've had from here. So when I woke this morning, I was thinking about that Aries Libra, and how I created a community fairly recently, a few months ago, on Facebook, linked to this channel. Like if you're watching this, perhaps you're already in that community over there on Facebook, and I love it. I love that we have a community that is like of like-minded souls, people who are also on like a path of spiritual creative growth, and who are kind of like working out how to be connected with themselves, but also like kind of planted, rooted into the world where they are as well, you know. And that is the same kind of like pull, isn't it? The being rooted, but also roots and shoots, you know. It's that thing. And like I was saying, I love the community, but I also find that when I am in a community, like this diagram is this, and that is why I've drawn in these diagrams. But basically it's like, here's me at this here, and when it's just me, I can keep myself centered, I can keep myself grounded, I can keep myself rooted. But then when I'm in community, it's like by spinning that circle, by weaving that community circle, it makes me go wee, and I shoot off to the edge. So that's why I made these patterns, is because it's like I'm going woo and out to the edge. I hope this is making sense. This might be utter gibberish to everyone apart from me, but we'll see. Let me know if you understand what I'm on about here. But yeah, so there's me kind of like centered, grounded, rooted. I'm at home, I'm planted, I'm in my ancestral homelands here in Wales, and I'm like so grounded. And then I have this community which also has a pull on me. So I'm like being whooshed off because I'm spinning this circle. So I'm like weaving out to the edge, and then I'm like, right, I got to bring it back in. So I'm like going out and I'm going in, and I'm going out and I'm going in. And I realize it makes this gorgeous flower pattern. But that wasn't what I was thinking about so much this morning. More, I was thinking about that it creates this energetic field, because when I am just in the center, I'm still, and the only things that are like really, really still, like I suppose rocks kind of look like they're really still, but obviously there's things like erosion and all sorts of stuff going on really with them. It's just a much larger process. But like for humans, we're only like completely still when we're dead. And so I realized that I need that other, that pull of the other to pull, like it's not a bad thing to be pulled out of this circle, because it's pulling me to this edge, and then I'm pulling myself back in from the edge of the circle, and I'm in that out and in movement, that kind of centrifugal force. I'm being whizzed out and back in, and it's creating a lot of energy, because when something's at rest, it stays at rest. It doesn't have that energy with it. But when something is like whizzing out, whizzing in, it almost reminds me of like atoms and electrons and all that kind of stuff as well. Like this is making me think of that. It's almost like a whoosh. These are like little electrons flying out around here. I don't know. I'm getting carried away. But that is how it feels. But it also makes me feel like I've got quite a lot of air energy in my chart. You know, I've already told you my ascendant's in Libra, my sun's in Gemini, and I can get a little bit like too much nervous energy, too many ideas, and that is not healthy for me. Then I need to make sure I'm still like leaning into my Taurus moon, I'm staying nice and grounded. So basically, all of that to say that on this Aries full moon, I'm working with those ideas of patterns of being centered and grounded, how to reconcile that, how to be able to have that energetic push and pull, which I need. I know I need that. I need that for my personal growth. I need that because that is what my guides are telling me I need to do. I need to offer this community. So I have to find a way to do that in a healthy way for me. And that is what all of this spread is about. And that's what I'm going to try and lean into and kind of show my process of how I like find out how do I do that. And it's going to involve some tarot. I might not even post this. This is all over the place. I'm so sorry. In my head, it was like, oh, this is really good. This is going to be really helpful. Maybe not so much. We'll see. So I found a quote that kind of summed up where I am with it a little bit, and it says, a self is not something static, stuck, tied up in a pretty parcel and handed to the child, finished and complete, like, here you go, that's you. A self is always becoming, and that's what this energy is. It's the energy of becoming. So I need that push and pull to be able to feed into that energy of becoming. And here I'm just kind of realizing that's what I need, that finding that energy between the calm at the center and the centrifugal force of the spinning of the circle, And then I drew it and I was like, oh my God, it's a flower. I didn't realize that. And that's when I pulled out my like Spiro kits and stuff and started to make a few little doodles on here as well. So yeah, I set up these pages. I also put this eye here because Aries is tied up with like the top of the head with the eyes. The sun and moon also linked to the eyes as well. And this is like a triangle, so it's like a fire. Everything's just very layered and meaningful. I got eye, you know, it just seems so meaningful at the moment. We're also working with this wand rune in the circle, you know, in this circle, which is causing me to be off balance, but so energetic. And that is the rune of blessing, making sacred. We're working with this wand in the circle at the moment. And so it's just all coming together for me now. Well, it's coming together and going apart and coming together and going apart. And that's kind of the point, you know. It is that movement which is really important for me. So there's this tension in the chart that needs to be resolved. And so what I wanted to do was to sort of show, how do I pick out the questions that I want to ask, because I'm going to ask some questions of my cards, and I might not actually ask the questions with you guys here because I don't know what's going to come out, and like I'm expecting it's going to be something quite I don't know, we'll see, but the process I want to share with you is the process of finding the right questions, because like unless you ask the right questions, you don't get the right answers, do you? So what are the questions I need to ask which will help me to work out this whole thing? So I'm thinking it's going to be something like, I'm going to use some scrap paper to sort of scribble some ideas down, because I do that sometimes when I'm coming up with like spread ideas and questions, because I don't like to, I want to like write them nicely into here, because I want to be able to just journal my responses and not have like crossings out and stuff like that in here. I don't generally like practice pages, but when it's like coming up with questions which might refine a little bit, I do it like that. So okay, so what I want to do is, I know I'm going to ask questions about self, and I'm going to ask questions about the other, and I know I'm also going to ask questions about energy and healthy energy, because I know it needs to be healthy for me and not I also need some grounding of the energy. So I think what I'm going to ask is, how can I how can I engage in a healthy way with others? I think that's what I'm going to ask. How can I dance, move with the energy of the spinning circle? Do you see how these questions are like kind of coming out of this? How they like just finding their way out of what this is? And like, these are questions that will be pertinent to everybody, because you know we're all in this Aries full moon energy at the moment. So like, you know, feel free to use these as well for journaling prompts. Like, it might not be quite so on point for you, because you know this is obviously what is going on in my life at the moment, but I suspect it will be, because like this is what's going on in all of our lives. So yeah, it'll be, you know, to a greater or lesser extent depending on your personal chart and stuff as well, how strongly this kind of calls to you at the moment. But yeah, if you have a lot of Aries energy or a lot of Libra energy in your chart, then even more so for you at the moment. So how can I engage in a healthy way with others? How can I dance / move with the energy of the spinning circle? How can I find a rhythm which includes rest? Because that's what I'm finding at the moment, is that I'm finding it more difficult to rest, because I've just got all of this energy going on, and I want to I still want to be able to do that, but I need it to fit in, basically. I still need rest. I still need to find that time at the center of the circle. And I think I'm just going to put in some more kind of esoteric questions as well. So I'm going with, who am I at the center? You probably can't read my disgusting handwriting. These are like my rough. Who am I at the center of the circle? Who am I at the circle bounds? And I feel like I want to ask one more question, although I quite like that it's 5. But I want to ask something like a kind of resolving question, or like kind of more outcome question as well. So I feel like I want something like how can I work with this moon phase in the way which best serves me? Okay, and I'm going to repeat that question and put my circle. So I'm going to have 7 questions. I'm going to have, how can I work with this moon phase in the way that best serves me? And I'm also going to have, how can I work with this moon phase in the way that best serves my circle? Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. So I'm going to write those questions in, and I'm going to leave a little bit of space. Like, that's quite a lot. That's like a 7 card spread now. So we will see how well I can fit this in. So how can I engage in a, oh gosh, let's lean into a healthy way with others? And like, this is something that I'm obviously working with beyond this moon phase as well, but it's something that I'm working with a therapist now to kind of resolve that as well, and some anxiety issues and stuff. So, and I'm feeling really hopeful and positive about that. I think I'll write my answer down here for that. I like the way these are kind of like going around in circles as well. I think I'm going to write my next one here. Or maybe I'll write my next one around the circle, and I'll put my answer in the circle. Oh, how can I dance with the energy of this spinning circle? So this is obviously, yeah, like, you know, I haven't planned this page. It's just kind of growing. It's evolving as we're working on it here now. How can I find a rhythm which includes rest? So I feel like that one is, I think it's going to go here. I'm going to write it here. How can I find a rhythm which includes rest? I might put my answer in there because that looks kind of like a larger, you know, like in that circle the middle is shrunk, whereas in this circle the middle is expanded. And who am I at the center of the circle? Who am I at the circle bound? So that's a kind of pair of questions, isn't it? Where should I put those? I think here. Who am I at the center of the circle? And then, who am I at the circle? And then we've got that kind of pair of questions again. So, how can I work with this moon phase in the way which best serves? And then I'm going to put me here. 3. I'll write my answer there, and I'm going to put the circle by there, so I can put the answer there for that. Okay, so shall I pull the cards now? Yeah, I'll pull the cards, but I probably won't do the actual journaling because like you've watched me write a lot of stuff now and it's probably a little bit boring. So I'm going to use, am I going to use my everyday witch? Yeah, I think I am going to use my everyday witch to do this reading. I've got a few decks that I'm going to be working with in October. I never make those decks I work with in the month videos, like weirdly, because I like watching other people's ones like that. Like I actually prefer those rather than like flip throughs and stuff. So yeah, maybe maybe it'd be fun to make a video like that. I don't know. It just seems to come around so fast, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't made a video about that. And now we're in a new month. Yeah, at the moment I feel like I've got so many ideas of things I want to make videos. I want to make creative projects. I want to do that. I could do with like, I could easily make 2 videos a week, but it's just a time factor because I home educate my children as well, and like me and my husband have got a business, and it's a lot, you know. There's not a lot of time of for doing videos, and it's a shame because I really love it. Okay, so I'm going to take them in order. How can I engage in a healthy way with others? Okay, so I've got 2 of Cups as my answer, and I'm seeing that as it being more like in a pleasurable way, but also kind of like in a more one-to-one kind of way. Quality time, like one-to-one quality time, which might seem strange in that I'm talking about this energy with like the circle, but it is also like the self and other energy. So yeah, it needs to be relaxed and sensuous as well. Okay, so I'll do some more journaling with these once I've kind of turned off the camera as well, because I don't like how my writing is looking there now either. It's like a bit of a mess. I'm just using a biro as well, which is not nice, but I've got like sepia ink in my in my fountain pen, so I don't want to really use that because I wanted it to be black, because I've used black and grey over here. So okay, so we've got another cups coming out here. So it's like, how can I, what did I say, dance with the energy of the spinning circle. And we've got the Knight of Cups. Look at this here with all these like hearts coming out everywhere, and it's kind of just like, look how he's like riding the broom over this like dolphin or whale underneath, and it's like this is like the spirit unconscious, the beneath. And so like ride and spread hearts, knowing that I've got this like spiritual guidance that's supporting me in all that. So I'll write some notes on that after. I think it was, how can I find a rhythm? Yeah, that was the next one. So this is, how can I find a rhythm which includes rest? So let's have a look. Okay, so this is probably going to be something difficult for me, because it does feel like a kind of everyone wants a piece of me kind of thing, and like that's not conscious at all. That's not something that is happening from other people, although like not like in a way that they know is like difficult for me. But I find like with demands of like family demands and like creative demands and things like that, it does feel like that. So that is definitely something I'm gonna need to work on. I'll probably do like more questions just based around what has come out here in this card for me. So let me write in. So I'm gonna write Knight of Cups here. And I'm also going to write 7 of Wands in here. Interesting that it's wands as well, when in the circle we're talking about the wand rune. So who am I at the center of the circle? Well, that's pretty lovely, isn't it? 10 of Cups. I am the nurturer, the provider, the kind of safe space. I lay down the blanket and invite the people to come, you know. I bring the food and the cups, the kind of nourishment. Yeah, that feels really, really lovely, really lovely. And you know, again, both family orientated and circle orientated again, so yeah, really sweet. And then who am I at the circle bounds, at the edge of the circle? Okay, so yeah, another cup again. So from the 10 of the cups, where I am in the center, where I feel most like myself at home, but although it is in a picnic, it's not at home, but it's like, it maybe is in our garden, you know, it's like in my kind of sacred space, my special space, my kind of personal private space. But then the 3 of cups, which I've talked about this before, as being like a woman's circle card. And there I am, you know, celebrating at the circle bound under the full moon, you know, under this Aries full moon. We are coming together and we are like making magic together. So yeah, that's so on point, you know, as tarot always is, you know, it's incredible. How can I work with this moon phase in the way which best serves me? 8 of Pentacles. Okay, and so she is working. She's like potion making and, to be honest, cooking. Making sure I'm getting the good nutrition and things that I need. That is something that I know really helps me, and it's something that I need to do because I need to go and make dinner, and instead of making dinner, I am here making this video. So perhaps I should be focusing a little bit more on the pentacles rather than on the wands so much, just for a little bit, you know. Interesting. And again, you know, there's more there. I'll come back to the rest of that. And then how can I work with this moon phase in the way which best serves the circle? Oh, okay. So that is the only card that's come out. There's a, well, I suppose no, there was 7 of Wands as well. So interestingly, we got a 7 and then we've got an 8. We've got 8 of Swords as well. So what does that mean for the circle? Working with the 8 of Swords. So the 8 of Swords is like famously, is famous for being like kind of trapped by in a mind prison, isn't it? It's like you could easily get out, and like the things that you need, your broom, your hat, your kind of identity as a witch, you know, is there. So perhaps there's to do with that. Like, look how the witchy hat is outside of the circle. The cat's in there, and like the little birds there alerting that, you know, it's okay, things are actually okay. But it's a kind of a very stuck energy. And so I feel like it's to do with like witchiness and not seeing witchiness as well, seeking. A lot of things are coming up around that, and I feel like I've got more to kind of bring forward from that. But yeah, it feels like interesting as well with like the binding of the hands. It's almost like the kind of energy is a little bit stuck and mental, and perhaps not like being, it's very closed, isn't it? It's like not like, it couldn't be more different from like, say, these cards. Really, really different energy, you know. So these were talking about like me more personally, and then this is saying how I've got to work with the energy. So perhaps I need to find a way of like breaking that energy. Perhaps I'm not like perhaps people are seeing the circle in a certain way, and I need to change that up a little bit and make it like, take those swords away so that people can bring more to it themselves. Interesting. Okay, so that's definitely something that I'm going to need to think about a little bit more and work on. But that was what I wanted to show you, is how using the astrology, using like just insight from guides and from spirits that kind of comes forward, using things that are happening in my day-to-day life and using things that are happening in the circle, how putting all that together just throws up these questions which can then help to move things in the way that they need to be moved, and to like just dance with the energy rather than like try and avoid it. So yeah, I'm not sure if that will mean anything to anyone else apart from me, but I wanted to share some of my journal with you, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Warmest blessings, and I will see you very soon.